Happy Wednesday. Hopefully everyone's having an awesome day. Hopefully I can get through this video without any interruption, since I do all this in one take. We're going to be talking about Buffalo. Buffalo is suing several gun manufacturers, which I just don't agree with, mainly because I believe that it's illegal to sue gun manufacturers, because gun manufacturers provide weapons to our U.S. military and law enforcement. So they needed protections against frivolous lawsuits so they don't go out of business. So let's go ahead and read the story from CNN. It's from CNN, the most trusted network of all time. I think CNN stands for the Clinton News Network or the Clown News Network. But either way, the city of Buffalo, New York, has filed a lawsuit against several gun manufacturers and distributors Tuesday, alleging that they fuel violence in the city by making and providing thousands of firearms recovered in crimes committed in the city of Buffalo and New York State. It's funny how they had to add New York State, because I don't think they have thousands of firearms recovered in the city of Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo's that big. The suit filed in Erie County branch of New York of Supreme Court alleges that firearm companies like Smith & Wesson, Beretta, Remington, Glock, and Bushmaster, as well as what the lawsuit terms ghost guns companies, I don't think there are ghost gun companies, but there's a few down here, including Arm or Ally and Palmer 80, contributing to the condition that endangers the safety and health of the public of the city. Hopefully their policies are up to date. Hopefully they are arresting criminals. Hopefully they're denying bail for all violent offenders. Oh, they're not. So maybe the city needs to step up their game to do everything that they could possibly do to prevent these dangerous people to have access to guns before you go after the gun manufacturers. Members of our community have suffered too much and for too long for gun violence, Buffalo Mayor Brian West Brown said in a news conference Tuesday. We must do everything we can to decrease the gun violence, enabling the possession of illegal guns destroys and deeply affects our neighborhoods, especially in the black and brown communities. How about you promote a culture where it's not driven by gang violence? Perhaps you should promote a culture if you see something suspicious, call the police. How about you promote a culture that you actually trust your police department and not backstab them when objects don't go your way? I mean, there's certain things a city and a state can do to drive down crime in their neighborhood. One of them is to support police officers, make sure that they have the resources and that they're properly staffed, to where cops don't have to fear of being arrested for doing their job. The lawsuit comes 7 months after 10 people that were killed and 3 were wounded in a racially motivated mass shooting at Tops Friendly Market in a predominantly black area of Buffalo. The gunman, who is white, pleaded guilty last month to 1 count of domestic act of terrorism motivated by hate. I would have pleaded not guilty on that one and then guilty on all the others. But that's just me. I'm just a person like that. 10 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, and weapon possession charge. Now, the radio station I listened to mentioned that he was being investigated by the cops. He was sent to a mental institution for evaluation. But however, the red flag laws weren't being triggered because they never filed the paperwork to flag him, to prevent him from buying a Bushmaster XM15 for the attack, the same model used by the shooter in the 2012 mass shooting in Sandy Hook in Connecticut, which resulted in the death of 20 first graders and 6 adults, the lawsuit states. The city is seeking compensatory and punitive damages from the defendants, including money or an abundant fund with significant capital to eliminate the public nuisance that they're responsible for creating, exacerbating, and or perpetrating, lawsuit states. It's a gun. I get it. Guns are scary. They make loud noises and they shoot a metal at high velocity used to take down prey or defend yourself. I get it. It's scary, but that's not the responsibility of the gun manufacturer. If you let your city run amok, you let your city deteriorate and have a high crime rate. That's on city officials. That's on city's officials to get involved in the community to change the culture within the community. But no, they just want to go after the guns because they're not real leaders. CNN reached out to the named defendants and the National Rifle Association for comment. I wonder if this is the NRA. We have not had a chance to review the allegations in full in this time, but upon the first blush, the verified allegations against Bushmaster Firearms Industry Incorporated are false, the gun manufacturer Bushmaster said in the statement. Our counsel is currently reviewing the complaint and evaluating the path forward to address both this lawsuit and potentially libelous claims made against Bushmaster Firearm Industries Incorporated. No other entry returned CNN's request for comment because they don't trust you. They don't trust you, CNN. I mean, why would they? You promote an anti-gun approach. You call the NRA monsters. You got people on Twitter saying that the NRA supports killing babies and children. So why would gun manufacturers respond to you? Because you're not honest. During the Tuesday news conference, Brown said the goal of the lawsuit is not to prevent legal gun ownership, but he pretty much is, because if you make it to the point where a company doesn't want to ship product to your city, and this product happens to be a firearm, then you're taking away the ability for people to locally buy this tool. They would have to go to another state or another city to purchase said firearm by reducing legal gun ownership. But instead, a proactive strategy where we're utilizing Buffalo to keep our communities safe because you are full of crap and you're not a leader. City officials cite crime data showing 355 people were killed or injured in shootings in Buffalo in 2020. That's a rather small number in respect. I'm pretty sure they probably got 12 million people in the city of Buffalo. I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. Population of Buffalo, New York. Let's see what Google had to say. I thought that was larger. Going to the point where thousands of firearms recovered in the city of Buffalo and New York State. They probably received a couple of hundred, maybe up to 1,000 in Buffalo. I really thought that was going to be higher. But still, that seems rather low. Actually, maybe high because they're not real leaders. Lawsuit of yeah, I already read that. Or did I? No, yeah, I already read that. I already read that. City official were shootings in Buffalo in 2020 and said that the number of people shot in the city during the first 3 months of 2021 jumped 140% compared to the same time frame in 2020. We have a public nuisance law that we're empowered to enforce, and I intend to do all I can do as mayor to protect the people and prevent the loss of lives resulting from gun violence without really addressing the problem, but we're going to go after the source because it's a math problem. You get rid of the guns, you get rid of gun violence. You can't have gun violence when you have no guns. I mean, it's a simple math problem. I mean, I understand their reasoning behind that. The conduct of certain gun manufacturers had unreasonable interfered with the public right to use open space free from fear. You'll never be able to be free from fear. You have a society. And anytime that you have a society, you're going to be around among other people. Other people have a tendency to cause chaos. When you cause chaos, it causes fear. Unfortunately, there's no way to prevent that. Whether it's a knife, crowbar, a bomb, or just straight up fists. I think the New York City actually has a problem with random people going up to other random people and just punching them or beating them up for no apparent reason. I've seen those videos. It's usually a certain race going after Asians that no one wants to talk about. But yeah, stop Asian hate, right? But yet you don't want to address the issue. Then, of course, it talks about Robb Elementary and their similar legal action, which I've already mentioned on this video, on this channel. I think both lawsuits are frivolous. I think they both should be thrown out. Now, the part with the Uvalde lawsuit, well, actually, I think it's like three lawsuits or maybe even 4 lawsuits. You got this one. I think Uvalde has 2 or 3 lawsuits going. One of the lawsuits needs to be amended to remove the gun manufacturer and the gun store. I do think the law enforcement has some answers, or not some answers, some questions that needs answering when it comes to Robb Elementary. Robb Elementary itself has answers to why a door wasn't locked. You definitely have the independent school district where Robb Elementary is, needs to answer for why maintenance wasn't being done at the school. But I don't really agree with this lawsuit because there's a federal law. I don't exactly remember what the federal law is, but the federal law clearly states that you cannot sue gun manufacturers, because if you sue gun manufacturers, they're going to go out of business. But apparently certain lawmakers or certain members of our government don't care about that law. They're just going to pick and choose which law to enforce. They're going to have a no bail system, which leads to more violent actions because you're just creating a revolving door. When you create a revolving door, people say, I'm just going to be out in a couple hours, so I'm going to do whatever I want. And these are people that you don't want out in the streets. These are people that are going to lead to a violent action. We're seeing this in Austin, Texas. We are seeing this in New York City. We're seeing this in probably Buffalo City. We're also seeing it throughout the country when you have criminal first DAs that don't really care about the public. And now the city of Buffalo wants to take away the ability to purchase tools to protect you, while at the same time possibly wanting to defund the police or berate the police, demoralize the police, to where you have no protection, and if you choose to protect yourself, you're going to be arrested because they view the tools that you're going to use to protect yourself an illegal weapon. And so they're not really fixing the issue. This is a shakedown. They want money from these manufacturers the same way that they do to Big Pharma, is that maybe there's a shortfall of taxes that they want to get to fill in the gap somehow, and they're going after gun manufacturers because they think gun manufacturers is this evil boogeyman willing to do the right thing because they're law-abiding companies. I don't know. That's just my video. Leave a comment down below if you want. You can smash the like and subscribe button. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.